Welcome, folks. Today we're going to talk about a subject that might leave some people scratching their heads: the ethics of artificial intelligence. Now, before we start, I need to ask you a crucial question. Do you think machines can have morals? Well, you might say, of course not, that's absurd. And indeed it is. However, people have always tried to impose their beliefs and values on the machines they created. For example, we've been trying to make machines that follow Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, as if the machines will understand the difference between right and wrong. If we are trying to make machines that follow our belief system of morality, then whose morality are we really talking about? Yours and mine? The UN? Your local grocery store? The standard response is usually some utilitarian calculus that involves the greatest good for the greatest number of people. But as we learned from the Cold War era game theory exercises, the notion of what counts as a desirable outcome could differ depending on who you were and what you valued the most. So instead of trying to encode our morality into machines, we should aim to study how human beings make moral decisions and use machine learning techniques to model human moral reasoning. By doing so, we can understand the underlying factors that lead to conflict in moral reasoning, such as the tension between individual interests and the common good. Computers are like the lighthouses of the 21st century. They can guide us through stormy situations, but they can't tell us which course we should take. That's up to us humans. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. What if machines become sentient beings? What if they could feel pain and pleasure? I'm not saying that this is going to happen in our lifetime, but it's worth exploring. If machines do become sentient, would they be entitled to rights? If we acknowledge the fact that machines could be conscious and possibly feel pain and pleasure, then the ethical implications of how we treat them should follow naturally. However, there are still many hurdles to surpass before we can even come close to having to deal with these types of ethical considerations. One potential solution is to create a hybrid interface between machines and humans that would allow them to enhance and transcend our biological limitations, essentially to create cyborgs. By doing so, we might be able to overcome the so-called hard problem of consciousness. If I could leave you with one thing today, it would be to remember that experts with different views need to be able to communicate with each other to create viable solutions. Don't just listen to me. Listen to the likes of Stuart Russell, the leading expert on AI, and his concerns with the development of AI. Pay close attention to what he has to say if you are interested in the ethics of AI. And remember, if you're ever afraid of the machines rising up against us, just give them some of your dad jokes. They'll quickly realize why we created them in the first place.